Hello everyone, welcome to day 2 of the Highway to Hell tournament, gas versus electric cars. Let's meet our first group. In lane 1 we have the Viper, lane 2 the Corvette, lane 3 the Audi RS, and lane 4 the Tesla Model X. And here we go, day 2 is underway. The Tesla Model X takes an early lead, and they're actually kind of going in an evenly spaced descending order from left to right. Tesla Model X stays in the lead, and I was about to say that the other racers are following close behind, but the Tesla Model is actually taking a bit of a lead right now. And we've seen in the previous race that some of these turns can really kill a racer's speed, but the Tesla Model X is having no problem. He actually went faster there, and oh wait, he actually went sideways, slowed to a stop, barely crossed the finish line before the Audi got there. And here come the other two racers. Is the Viper going to finish? Yes, he is. Okay. And somehow the Tesla Model X, actually somehow wound up upside down. Let's see if this replay showed it. He did get those wheels across, so he still gets the win. And he got pushed over the railing. Hopefully the driver's okay, because I can't imagine that those are pleasant collisions. But the Viper comes in, and here's our scores for the first round. The Viper with 1, the Corvette with 2, the Audi RS with 3, and the Tesla X with 5. A great place to start. Let's see if they can maintain that lead for the rest of the race. Here we go, lanes changed, and the Tesla X is already kind of growing a decent-sized lead. Meanwhile, the Viper is falling behind. Yet somehow the Tesla Model X is taking off a lot faster than he was in the previous race. And it looks to me, based off what I'm seeing here, that the Tesla Model X is good when it's a narrow, concentrated path. But once it gets to those open lanes, yeah, as you're seeing right now, he's kind of losing control and bouncing off the walls a bit, which right now is not too bad, because he's still able to maintain that speed and has a huge lead over everybody else. But once, if he moves on, he faces other racers, that could be a problem. So he does get that win, and everybody finishes in about the same position as they did in the first race, which is good for the top 2 racers, not so good for the Corvette or the Viper. Let's see if another lane change will help these racers at all. Here we go, another lane change. This is race number 3. The Tesla and the Audi are already in a good position to move on, but that doesn't mean the Audi especially is out of the woods. And the Audi is actually kind of keeping up with the Tesla right now, giving him a run for his money. Let's see if the turns make a big difference, because sometimes that makes someone lose their speed a lot. As you just saw there, the Audi is starting to fall behind. If the Tesla falls apart again, they might be able to take advantage of that, but he doesn't. Gets the win. Audi finishes in second again. There's the Corvette, and the Viper is somehow way up here. In fact, he couldn't even get over that last little hump there to move on to the final stretch. Not entirely sure what happened. If I had to guess, that previous turn leading into this part of the track slowed him down to the point where he just could not get over that last hill. But he at least finished a couple times, which is better than one of the racers we had in the last leg. Yeah, the Tesla X has already stamped his way into the final round. Now let's see if the Audi can do the same thing. Alright, here we go. Final race. The Tesla is already in, so this is kind of a victory lap for him. Meanwhile, the Audi does have a decent chance, but if the Corvette pulls off a miracle here, he may actually take that spot away from him. But the Tesla, he's in a really good position. We're not too worried about him at this point. As long as he doesn't swivel around and stop at the end like he did last time, he should be okay. Sure enough, he is. And the Audi is able to move on, knocking out the Corvette and the Viper. A good effort by those two racers, but unfortunately it just was not enough. 14.1, a very respectable time. We've seen some racers get close to breaking that 14-second mark. So I'm pretty sure someone will at some point. And the Tesla X and the Audi RS move on. Let's meet our second group of racers. Lane 1 is the Nissan, Lane 2 is the McLaren, Lane 3 is the Mustang, and Lane 4 is a Nissan Leaf. If I recall correctly, we had a Nissan Leaf in the last leg. They didn't necessarily win, but they still put forth a valiant effort. Now, the Mustang kind of has a bit of a lead here, but during that first turn, the Nissan takes the win, But the Mustang is not having any of that. Pulls a bit ahead. Let's see what this turn does. And it kills the speed of 3 of the racers. The Mustang actually takes the lead here. Let's see how they do in this final stretch. They turn around, go backwards, but they still have enough of a lead to take that win. And here come the other racers, with the McLaren finishing in 4th. But it was very close. It's still very possible for them to make something happen in the last 3 races of this particular leg. 16.05, not the greatest time we've seen, but they're just getting started. They might be able to warm up and do something better after that. Alright, so in Heat 2, the 2 Nissans are next to each other, and the McLaren is next to our Mustang, who currently has the lead right now. Let's see if they can hold on to that. And at the beginning of this race, all 4 racers are actually kind of staying pretty close together. Let's see if this first turn changes that. Not really. They're still kind of neck and neck. The Mustang is trying to get the lead back, and they do that. And the Nissan Leaf is falling behind, and I don't think that turn is going to help them. In fact, I think they got stuck. Meanwhile, the Mustang has its lead again, but the other 2 racers are right behind him. He spins around, goes backwards. The Nissan almost got the lead from him, but he wasn't able to do it. And let's see, where is our Nissan Leaf friend? He actually did get around that turn and is able to finish, which at least gives him a point instead of no points. And hey, any little bit helps, but in a race like this, that's not going to help them much. Yeah, the Mustang almost lost that one, but they still held on to the lead, giving them 10 points. All right, heat number 3, the Nissans are in the 2 middle lanes, while the Mustang and the McLaren are on the outside lanes. Once again, they're kind of staying neck and neck, but the Nissan and the Nissan Leaf are falling a little bit behind. Meanwhile, the Mustang is already taking a decent-sized lead, and they've shown that once they have that lead, they're not about to give that up. But as I'm saying this, the Nissan and the McLaren take a big lead. The Mustang loses a lot of speed there and is trying to make something happen. And the Nissan is pulling away on this final turn. No one is going to be able to touch him. This is exactly what the Nissan needed. Meanwhile, the Mustang does finish in 2nd, so he still has a solid chance to move on to the final round. And the McLaren was actually pretty close behind. If he finished in front of Mustang, that would have really helped them, but unfortunately they were not able to. So with that, I don't know if the Nissan Leaf or the McLaren really have a shot to move on at this point. This is Mustang and Nissan's race to lose. In fact, at this point, they're pretty much just racing for who can get the top overall score at the end of this leg. And they've both shown that they are pretty good fighters, and they're kind of going back and forth right now, with the Nissan going in front of the Mustang. The Mustang does have that wider turn, and it does kill a little bit of his speed, but the McLaren actually seems to have gotten stuck on that last turn up there. Meanwhile, the Nissan does have the lead. He's able to hold on to it. He finishes in 1st. I think that might actually result in the Nissan and the Mustang tying, and the McLaren does actually finish. It didn't look like he was going to based on that last turn up there, but he did actually do it. So he was at least able to say he finished all the races, which not every racer has been able to do so far. Yeah, the Nissan and the Mustang both tied at 16, a respectable performance. Now moving on to the finals. This ought to be a good one. Now, Tesla Model X, Nissan, Mustang, and Audi. All 4 of them have been shown to be quite the formidable opponents. Let's see if any of them can actually beat the fastest time we've had in our tournament so far, which I believe was done last time by the Lucid Air, with a time of about 14.025. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I seriously think, based off what Lucid Air was doing, that a sub 14 is definitely possible. In fact, I'm sure we'll see a small handful of racers pull that off by the end. Now, the Tesla Model X is taking the lead in the final turn here. Doesn't have anyone quite near him, but he did lose some speed. Thankfully for him, though, he did have enough space between him and 2nd that he was still able to pull off that win. Now let's see what kind of time he had. A 14.42, that is not bad. If he had full control on that last turn there, he might have broken 14 seconds. Still a great place to start, though, with that 5 points. Alright, here we go. Heat 2, lane changes have been made, and here we go. All 4 of them are staying pretty much right on top of each other, But as we've seen in the other races, these turns can be absolutely deadly to some of them. So far, they're still kind of staying relatively close. But this next turn right here has been a killer for many racers. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit more separation, but it's still pretty close overall. Can the Tesla keep control? No, he goes sideways and then backwards. The Mustang's trying to catch up to him, but does not have the speed to do it. And the Tesla Model X once again finishes in first. If he can do that again, he seals his victory and will move on alongside the Lucid Air. 14.79, not as good as the first time, but he's shown that he can have the speed, he just needs to keep control. Alright, Heat 3, more lane changes. Now the Tesla Model X is on the cusp of an overall victory if he can finish in first place. And so far he does have that lead, but the Mustang is right on his tail. Can the inside turn really help him here? It does for a split second, but the Tesla Model X is taking off a little bit, gradually extending his lead, which might be extended further after this turn. And it certainly is. At this point, it's the Tesla's race to lose. He just has to keep control over this last turn, and he does, finishes in first, and seals his victory, joining the Lucid Air in the next set of races. Let's see, did he break 14? 14.03. I think that was really close, but the Lucid Air was slightly faster. But the Tesla X is a competitor to take the fastest time. Alright, final race, and off we go. Now once again, the Tesla already has the overall win. At this point, he's trying to not only get the clean sweep here, but he's also trying to break the Lucid Air's fastest time of 14.025. He almost had it in that last race, so he knows it can be done. If he can keep a clean race here, he might actually pull it off. Either way, I'd say the Lucid Air has some decent competition. Goes around that last turn pretty cleanly, but at the last second he starts drifting sideways a bit, probably losing some speed, which would cost him, I believe, the fastest time. Let's check that out. Oh no, he actually did beat the Lucid Air's fastest time, 14.007. Almost broke the 14-second mark, but didn't quite do that. But he has shown that the Lucid Air does have some competition. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time for more races and fun.